Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan.
It is Friday, September 26, 2025. Thanks for tuning in as we connect some dots for you.
Happy Friday. We've got quite a mix today. Phones, hobbyist computers, and ants.
Yes, quite the journey ahead. But first, let's get you set up. Here in Sacramento, looking like a sunny one today, high of 94. Pretty standard late September for us.
As classic Sacramento. Nationally, though, things are a bit more active. Keep an eye on the southwest and southeast, potential for heavy rain, maybe some flash flooding.
And that tropical wave, AL94, is looking more likely to develop. Could impact the southeast U.S., but the track's still a bit fuzzy, you know?
Definitely one to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, quick market check from yesterday's close.
Let's do it. Dow Jones finished up just a bit, plus about 37 points, so plus 0.08%. But looking at the week, it's down slightly, necking 8.15% since Monday.
Same story for the S&P 500. Up a little yesterday, plus 9 points, or plus 0.14%, but still down negative 0.45% for the week overall. Seems like some hesitation out there.
Yeah, and Bitcoin saw a small bump yesterday, up about $200, plus 0.19%. But it's had a rougher week, down over 3% since Monday.
Some volatility there. And any Giants news?
Nope. No game yesterday, September 25th. Bit of a bummer, but hopefully they'll get back at it soon.
Always next game. All right, before we dive into the main stories, let's thank one of our sponsors.
Absolutely. This part of the show is brought to you by Pins and Aces. That's Pins and Aces. They make really top-notch premium golf apparel and accessories.
Great stuff. Quality gear. Looks sharp on the course or, wherever.
Exactly. And they've got a great deal for you. Use our promo code SNARFUL, that's SNARFUL, pronounced SNARFUL, at checkout.
And what does that get you?
It gets you 21% off your entire purchase. Pretty sweet deal.
21%. Nice.
Just head over to pinsandaces.com. That's pinsandaces.com, code SNARFUL.
All right, good deal. Now, let's get into it. Time for our Morning Star, the Snarful Tech Article Report. 3 big things catching our eye today.
Let's kick it off with Apple. We're looking at the iPhone 17. The buzz is this could be the everyman's iPhone. Maybe the best value we've seen in years.
Yeah, that's the angle. The idea is the standard iPhone 17 is getting some serious upgrades that used to be only on the Pro models.
Design-wise, sounds pretty similar to the 16. A little taller, a little narrower, 6.3-inch screen now. But the real story is under the hood, or rather on the screen.
Exactly, the big one. Promotion is finally trickling down. The standard iPhone 17 gets the 120 hertz refresh rate.
Finally, that makes everything feel so much smoother.
Right. And the always-on display, too. These were Pro-only features since, 2021. It's a big deal for the feel of the phone, something Android users have definitely enjoyed for a while.
Totally changes the experience. And then there's the storage.
Yes, the other big value piece. They've doubled the base storage.
From 128 gigs to 256 gigs.
And crucially, they kept the price the same, still starting at $799.
So better screen, double the storage, same price. That makes the $300 jump to the iPhone 17 Pro feel, well, a lot bigger now, doesn't it?
It really does. You have to ask yourself, what exactly am I paying that extra $300 for? Especially when you look at performance.
Yeah, the reports say the standard A19 chip is surprisingly close to the A19 Pro chip in the more expensive model.
Even slightly faster in some single-core tasks than the chip in the iPhone Air, apparently.
Yeah.
So performance isn't really the differentiator it maybe once was.
And camera's getting a bump, too.
Yep. Still, the 48-megapixel main camera, but now the ultra-wide camera also jumps to 48 megapixels, up from 12. That should mean much better detail in those wider shots.
Okay, that's a solid upgrade. And there's something about the front camera, center stage.
Right. The new 18-megapixel center stage camera for selfies and video calls. It's clever, uses a square sensor.
So it can crop to horizontal video even if you're holding the phone vertically.
Exactly. Super useful for social media videos or just making sure you're framed right without having to turn the phone. Solves a common annoyance.
Okay, so it sounds like a really strong package for the price. But there have to be some trade-offs compared to the Pro, right? What's still missing?
Well, yeah, there are still differences. They got to segment the market somehow.
Yeah.
You don't get the dedicated telephoto lens for optical zoom.
Right. Still digital zoom, only on the standard model.
You miss out on the Pro video features like Pro RAW photos and ProRes video recording. Speeds, too.
The USB port.
Yep. Still USB-C 2 transfer speeds on the standard 17. The Pros get the much faster USB 3. That's a bit of a sticking point for some, especially in 2025.
Yeah, that feels like an area they could have upgraded. And colors.
Colors are apparently a bit more muted again. Lavender, sage, mist blue. Nice, but maybe not as vibrant as the Pro options sometimes are.
Okay, so no telephoto, slower data transfer, no Pro video codecs, maybe duller colors.
Pretty much. But the argument is, for the average person, are those deal breakers? Probably not.
Especially when you get the smooth screen, the extra storage, great cameras, and solid performance.
Exactly. It hits that Goldilocks spot for a lot of people. Expect it to be a great phone that'll last you, 5 years easily.
Makes sense. A really strong value play from Apple this year, it seems. Okay. Moving from the mainstream to something a bit more niche, but really cool.
Yeah. Story number 2 definitely hits the nostalgia button while packing a modern punch. We're talking about the Raspberry Pi 500 Plus May.
The Pi 500 Plus, isn't that the one built into a keyboard?
That's the one. An all-in-one PC inside the keyboard chassis. It gives off, as the sources say, serious Commodore 64 vibes.
I can see that. A real throwback, like a love letter to those old machines.
But this isn't just a minor update. It's a huge leap over the previous Pi 400, positioning it much more as a capable, everyday desktop computer.
Okay, so what are the big upgrades?
2 massive ones stand out. First, RAM. They doubled it to 16 gigabytes.
Wow, 16 gigs in a Prey keyboard. That's substantial for multitasking.
It really is. But maybe even more important is the storage. They ditched the micro SD card slot as the primary boot drive.
My goodness, this could be so slow.
Right. And they replaced it with a proper 256 gigabyte NVMe M.2 SSD.
Okay, that's a game changer for usability. Fast boot times, snappy apps.
Totally. And it's swappable. So you can put it in an even bigger NVMe drive if you want. It really transforms the Pi from just a hobbyist board into something you could genuinely use day to day.
And they didn't stop there, right? The keyboard itself got an upgrade?
Yeah, they went all out on the feel. It now uses mechanical switches.
Really? What kind?
Gatoron KS33 blues, apparently. Clicky ones. Plus, customizable RGB lighting under the keys and replaceable keycaps.
Okay, so they're serious about making this a pleasant typing experience too, not just a functional box.
Seems like it. It targets users who see the Pi as more than just a little project board people who want a polished, complete, affordable desktop.
And it's based on the Raspberry Pi 5 platform.
Correct. So you still get that 2.4 gigahertz quad-core ARM CPU, support for dual 4K displays at 60 hertz. It's got the horsepower.
And the price. That's always been the Pi's killer feature.
Still incredibly affordable. Starts at just $200 for the keyboard unit itself.
$200 for a full computer with 16 gigs of RAM and a 256 gig SSD. That's wow.
Right. Or there's a $220 desktop kit that adds the official mouse and power supply. It's just phenomenal value for a super polished little machine.
Really leaning into making it a complete finished product experience. Very cool. All right, that's the Pi 500 Plus Act.
Okay, now for that hard left turn we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, let's shift from human-made tech systems to natural ones. This third story is about ecology, insects, and a pretty stark warning.
It ties back to that conversation around the insect apocalypse that really kicked off after a German study back in 2017. Remember that one?
Vaguely. Didn't it find a huge drop in insect biomass in protected areas?
Exactly. Something like 2/3 vanished over 25 years. It was alarming. This new study, though, takes a very different, much longer-term approach.
Okay, how so?
Well, first, they focus on ants in Fiji.
Fiji. Why Fiji?
Because island ecosystems are isolated. They tend to show the impacts of changes, especially human-driven ones, much faster and more clearly than large continents. Think of it like a magnifying glass for ecological change.
Gotcha. So, easier to see the signal from the noise. What was the method?
This is the really cool part. They use techniques called community genomics and museumomes.
Museumomics, like studying museum artifacts.
Kind of. It involves sequencing DNA, often very degraded DNA, from specimens stored in museum collections. In this case, ants collected over many decades, maybe even a century or more.
Wow. So they can literally look back in time genetically.
Precisely. And community genomics looks at the combined genetic makeup of all the ant species in that community to see how diversity and population sizes have shifted over really long timescales.
So instead of just looking back 25 years like the German study, they could potentially look back how far?
Thousands of years, potentially. It gives a baseline from before major human impact.
Okay, that's a powerful approach. So what did they find in Fiji's ants?
The results are pretty sobering. They found that 79% of Fiji's endemic ant species are showing clear signs of decline.
Endemic meaning the ones native only to Fiji.
Exactly. The species that evolved there and exist nowhere else. Nearly 4 out of 5 of them are in trouble.
Whoa! And what about non-native ants?
That's the other side of the coin. The non-native species, the ones humans brought in accidentally through trade, colonization, agriculture, those species are thriving.
So the invaders are pushing out the natives.
It looks that way. And the timing aligns worryingly well with the period of intensified global trade, modern agriculture, and European contact over the last few hundred years.
So Fiji is acting like that canary in the coal mine you mentioned, showing us what happens when these global pressures hit an ecosystem.
That's the takeaway. Because islands are so sensitive, what's happening rapidly in Fiji could be a preview of slower but similar trends happening globally.
And why does losing ants, or insects in general, matter so much?
Well, insects are fundamental. They're pollinators, they break down dead stuff, they cycle nutrients, they're food for countless other animals.
Yeah.
They're like the tiny gears that keep the whole ecosystem running.
Right. Lose the gears and the machine starts to break down.
Pretty much. And this study also highlights something else important. The value of those dusty old museum collections.
Because they hold the historical data.
Exactly. They're not just collections of dead bugs. They're invaluable data mines for understanding long-term environmental change. We need to preserve them.
A really important, if unsettling, piece of research connects our actions today back through centuries of ecological impact.
Definitely puts things in perspective. Okay, before we wrap with the key takeaways, one more shout out to a great sponsor.
Yes, this segment is also brought to you by Skoni. That's S-K-O-N-I, pronounced Skoni. They are your go-to for premium golf shoes.
If you're hitting the links, you want shoes that perform and look good. Skoni delivers on both. Great style, serious comfort.
Totally. And like Pins and Aces, they have an offer for our listeners. Use the promo code SNARFLE again, SNARFLE at checkout.
And this time the code gets you
15% off your entire purchase at Skoni.
15% off premium golf shoes. Solid.
Just head to skoni.com, that's skoni.com, promo code SNARFLE.
All right, so let's quickly recap the 3 big stories we connected today.
First up, the iPhone 17. Looks like incredible value this year, bringing key pro features like the 120Hz display and doubling the base storage to 256 GB, all while keeping that $799 starting price. Makes the standard model very tempting.
Second, the Raspberry Pi 500 Plus A. It's more than just a novelty. It's a genuinely powerful and polished all-in-one desktop experience, thanks to 16 gigs of RAM, a fast NVMe SSD, and even a mechanical keyboard, all starting at just $200. Combines nostalgia with real capability.
And third, that sobering look at Fiji's ants. Using long-term genomic data from museum specimens, scientists confirmed a dramatic decline in native species, linked to human activity over centuries. It's a stark warning from a sensitive ecosystem about broader insect declines and our impact.
Yeah, that last one really makes you think. Seeing how valuable those old physical specimens are for understanding long-term change, it kind of makes you wonder, what digital data or systems are we creating now that future generations will need to analyze to understand our time?
That's a fascinating question to ponder over the weekend. What's our digital museum collection going to look like, and will it be preserved?
Something to think about. Well, that's our time for this Friday.
Thanks so much for joining us.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.